In life, we encounter people every day, all of whom have stories to share. We rarely take the time to ask people their personal stories, many of which will touch, move, and inspire us in some way. Matt has a passion for making authentic connections and learning about people from all walks of life. He has lived a life of giving back to the community and making a difference in people's lives. Are you ready to meet fascinating people and hear some inspiring stories? The Matt Hilton Show will introduce you to a world of possibilities you never knew existed. Sit back, be present, and enjoy. Here's your host, Matt Hilton.
Hey everyone, Matt Hilton here, the host of the Matt Hilton Show. Thanks for tuning in today. Today's episode is the second part of Kathy Ward's interview. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned for a word from our sponsor, and remember, subscribe to my YouTube channel.
With almost 20 years of real estate experience in the North Texas area, the professional realtors at Hilton Realty Advisors have helped over 500 clients with their housing needs. Hilton Realty Advisors covers all areas of real estate: buying, selling, building, investing, and renting. We deliver the keys to homeownership to all through integrity, love, and joy. Call us today for all of your real estate needs.
Tell us about a time that you crossed the aisle and worked with someone on the Democrat side.
Well, now everybody knows my party. I think you said it earlier.
I already have.
Shocker!
And the elephant's on your scarf. Don't give it away.
The red elephants. Okay. Subtle. When I was became the first female Republican Party chairman for Collin County Republican Party, at the same time, the Democrats had elected a lady, and she was their first female party chairman, at least to my knowledge, she was.
Okay.
And she and I first got to know each other because some of the political science teachers had invited us at Collin College to come out and talk and come speak about our party and, let the kids know, hey, here's how you can get involved. Here's, some basic political things about how to get involved if you're interested in this, and then the different parties. And she and I became fast friends. We were, and we would, she was like, okay, I'm wearing a blue jacket, she's wearing a red jacket. And we would joke about stuff like that. There were certain issues that would come up because the teachers had us talk about some pretty, significant topics. And it was, I spoke my mind, and this is the reason I believe this. She spoke her mind. And that was it. There was no arguing. And like the students would be like, well, why aren't y'all arguing? And we're like, well, first of all, this isn't a debate format. But if it were a debate format, debates have built-in rules, so you can still keep your decorum and you can still, again, get your message out without blasting your opponent, kind of a thing. So we worked together on that. Then we also had, this was back when polling places used to be listed in the Dallas Morning News, and it was like, now everybody's like, God, everything's on your phone. But back in the day, kids, when you'd go to the newspaper to see where to go to vote on election day or early voting or whatever, and because we were political parties, in the past we had not been charged. But the newspaper was going to charge us. So she and I went down with both of our executive directors, and we said, hey, this is a service. Y'all are providing a service. We're not advertising anything about the parties. We're not advertising the candidates. We just want you to continue to provide this service for free for us. And lo and behold, that election cycle, it was provided for free. So that was a win-win situation. I think they kind of don't know what to do when they're like, wait, you said you're with what? And you said you're with who? And y'all came in the same car, kind of a thing. And then we had another thing before super polling places became a thing all over Texas. We went to commissioner's court, and, the polling places where you can go to different places, that's something I've always been in favor of. But when they first brought it to Collin County, we thought there were too many, unanswered questions. And so in order to make sure that our election workers and our volunteers were fully trained and had a smoothly running system, we asked them to push that back one cycle, which they did, and which was beneficial for all. So, I guess I've seen times where it can work. And I know everybody's like, well, it's a lot different in today's day and age. Well, I think the difference is we can, even though the debate has stopped, you can take it and turn it into an argument online very easily. And yeah, I just wonder about that. You know, in getting back to something you had asked earlier, sorry, adult ADD's kicking in. I remember a therapist, I had gone into her office, and I mean, it was the waiting room, and it was during a school day. It was packed with preteens and teens. I mean, it was just, I mean, every chair filled, people standing up. And I remember looking at the therapist and I said, what has happened? And she said, social media. Because what happens on social media, and adults feel this, kids feel this, we all feel this. Everybody, you know, like I never go, when my husband and I are fighting, you know, I don't go, oh, wait, let's go Facebook Live. You know, I haven't showered today. I still have on my pajama pants. We're fighting. Let's go Facebook Live. Said no one ever, you know. So everybody puts out the fun stuff, the good pictures, you know, oh, isn't this a lovely family dinner, family vacation, whatever. And quite frankly, I mean, I love seeing my friends happy. But then you've got to wonder who's the real person kind of a thing. And does that make sense? And I think like a show like yours helps people to get to know, well, this is what you see in the business world or in the nonprofit world or in the political world, but this is a real person. Yeah. At the end of the day, behind this account kind of a thing. So, I don't know. I think so social media is great for things because people can find lost dogs. You know, I'm watching a documentary right now where you've got people who are finding people who have very rare diseases, and they'll find somebody in Australia through Facebook or through social media, and they'll get connected. And then that saves that person's life. So there are some great things that come out of it. You know, I love seeing grandkid, puppy, kitty pictures. Love it when my friends go to concerts because I love concerts. You know, I love seeing inspirational things. But I think we've just gotten so far in it's almost like this is my real world. Here's Kathy. I'm just hanging out with Matt, having a good time. And okay, here's Kathy right here. Well, usually it's a posed picture of my dog.
Right.
And yes, I will come clean. I will come clean. Yeah, so if you see one cute picture of Kira, which I've got 9,000 of them, there are like 10 to 20 to 30 other pictures that were just blurs. Because she's like, oh, there's the cheese. I'm going, yeah. So that, some of those are fake. That's fake pose. It took 2 hours to get that one shot. I'll admit that.
So speaking about your loved animals.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so we've got some photos that we'll pull up here. This is Kira. And you know, and Matt, something Matt and I have a love for our community. We have a love for our friends, for the people we work with, for what we do, but we also have a strong love for our family. And I know you're a great dad. You know, my kids are now 19 and 23, but you know, about to be 20 and about to be 24. So since they don't need me volunteering and they don't need me to be the taxi cab and do all the stuff that I loved doing. I mean, I tell everybody, enjoy the heck out of the time while your kids are in school, because all of a sudden it changes when they're they become these independent people. So that's why you will see, that was Kira, and then Mr. Gus is the bearded dragon, and you will notice that they are all dressed up because they get dressed up for every single holiday. And so that's where I've kind of channeled that energy of, you know, oh, the kids aren't dressing up for Halloween. Well, guess what, folks? Mr. Gus and Kira this last Halloween had matching pumpkin costumes. They get tortured now.
I know. It's you know, an Elf on the Shelf. If any children are watching, cover your ears for a second. So Elf on the Shelf used to be a big thing with my kids when they were younger. So now Mr. Gus, our lizard, either dresses up like Santa or like a reindeer, and he hangs out with Elf on the Shelf.
That's so much
So
fun.
there you go. I'm going to have fun some way, one way or the other.
So speaking of what you present on Facebook,
Yeah.
what is something that a lot of people don't know about you? Do you have a secret hobby or something that you do or that you love to do that you just
They're
don't?
there somewhere.
Right.
Why? No. I think if you see something out there, it's a lot of times it's concerts, or I'm posting pictures of friends. When the kids were younger, posted a lot about them. Obviously, post pictures of the pets.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's my obligation to society, to spread cuteness in the world. But I kind of, if I can maybe answer it by saying, there's Kathy who's, doing her thing and having a great time, and really kind of, and I told folks this when I was on the radio, because Judge Payton, who when I first got on the radio, and I'd never done that, and I'm like, oh, sure, I'll do it, because I'm like, you know what, why not? Try anything, don't turn anything down, and just, try anything, because you never know what it will lead to. And he just said, be yourself. And that was the best advice, because I'm not an actor. I don't know how to pretend like I'm somebody else. With me, what you see is what you get. If we were in a coffee shop and I had a ball cap on and, sweats, this is the way it would be going. We would just be facing each other completely.
Right.
We wouldn't have a fancy sign behind us.
With the table in between.
Yeah, exactly. We wouldn't have all these lovely, But so I kind of, that's one of those things. Be yourself and be who you really are. And if that's the kind of stuff you put out, then usually it's going to be positive stuff. But then there's going to be times where you want to go on, you're asking somebody for prayers, or you've got a hot button political issue or something in the community going on. We'll use that to rally folks, but do it as you. Don't do it as like, well, so-and-so does it this way. So I go back to always be you, always be genuine, because if you're not, it would be so exhausting. You couldn't do that. If I would have put on a different personality while I was on the air for 2 hours every morning, very early. At one point we started the show at 6. And you're Monday through Friday. There's no grace period there. If I would have tried to have been like, oh, I'm going to be fancy intellectual Kathy who speaks in complete sentences and doesn't use her hands. Okay, yeah, that wasn't going to happen. But doing that, and in the podcast world, I just found, just be you.
Mm-hmm.
And just like don't you do better in your jobs and in your family life and when you meet friends if you're being who you really are? I think that's so important for people.
I know that was a rhetorical question, but
yes, answer. I'm going to answer it anyways.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's. I think you've got to be careful. I've had some friends who have said, "Hey, I'm taking a break from Facebook for a while." They're like, I find myself getting jealous if a friend goes on a trip, or maybe they've gone on 2 trips this year. You know what? Then know yourself and know that this is something that it's starting to bother me. It's making me depressed, and then make the smart decision to step away from it. And especially, with your kids, see if social media isn't part of what's bringing them down too.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean if they don't have a significant case or a true case of depression or something, but that might be feeding that demon kind of a thing. So I think if you're on social media, wherever you are, be the person who you are when you meet somebody at the gas station.
Yeah.
If you talk to a congressman or a person who's carrying your groceries, treat them the same.
Mm-hmm.
Be the same person to them.
Yeah.
If you're nice to one person, be nice to the other person. And again, you don't know. I think so many of us wear masks, and was a long roundabout way of getting to this. I'm a pretty high energy person like you. And so, and I like to go. I feel better when I'm doing stuff. I love to be part of something bigger than me. I've always loved that ever since high school. And I've just always loved being involved in things. So, very cause oriented, I love stuff like that. But then, okay, at the end of the day, sometimes I've just got to, I call it my dummy down time. And, you've got to find what works for you so you can refuel yourself. One thing, I love going to concerts. So if I go to a concert, I know I'm like, oh my goodness, this just gave me 3 weeks worth of massive energy, mad, crazy energy. That's one of the ways I refuel myself, because I think that's important. You can't talk about being vivacious and energetic without saying, well, it's not 24/7. I am able to sit quietly at home sometimes, especially when I had laryngitis. My family's like, oh, good. She
can't talk.
Oh, her doctor told her not to talk for 24, 36 hours. Yay. No. So I've got a couple of shows that I'll dummy down with. I don't know if I'm willing to go into admitting what those shows are yet on your show. Maybe the next time you have me as a guest. Listening to music always, if I'm happy, sad, or mad, if I pop in some earphones or put on headphones and listen to some great go-to music, and it can be anywhere from the Kingston Trio to Kiss. I mean, my music tastes are massive and all over the place. That'll start to take me out of it. And if you have pets, my little dog, she has just been a blessing. We got her just right before COVID hit. And I have always said, I don't know how I would have come out of that without having this little dog that's completely dependent on us to take care of, and then her fun personality and all the cute quirks she has and all the fun stuff she does. And she's a real, active dog. Shocking. I don't know where she gets that from. But she's very sensitive and knows, like when my mom passed away, she knew, and she was by my side when I was sick with COVID. She was very calm, didn't tear up one tissue, one toilet paper roll, was just on her best behavior. So find what that is. Or if it's a friend.
Yeah.
If it's a friend you can call or talk to, read the Bible, get like one of the little, daily readings or something where you can read a verse from the Bible. You can write about it, and then you can go read that chapter in the Bible. Wherever you feel like you can get your strength, if it's talking to a parent or to a best friend or to your spouse, to your kids, always take care of yourself.
Yeah, know yourself.
Yeah, know yourself, and know yourself well enough to know when you have to say, hey, I've hit a wall. And my family knows if I say, y'all, I've hit a wall, and it usually comes with some kind of physical illness because I've just worked myself so hard, to where I'm like, okay, I have no more energy. Then that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. And in that way, you're taking care of yourself. You're taking care of your not only your mental health, but your physical health that way. Yeah. Because if your body's always ramped up and stressed out, that's just no way to live. It's no way to live. So did that answer that long question 20 minutes ago?
No. And it made me think of, last year, just personally, I listened to what my body was telling me, and paid attention to what I love to do, right, and what revives me. And last year was the best year I had in business, but yet I traveled the most I've ever traveled. Yeah. And it's because traveling, like your concerts, gives me the 3 or 4 weeks, whatever I need to stay up, to be the positive person that everybody sees on social media and on the show here and all. And then I'm going to go on vacation because that gives me what I need. It charges you back up. Yeah.
It's kind of like plugging your phone in. If your battery's about to die, what do? When you plug it in,
we need to do the same thing.
Then figure out what that is for you. And yeah, I do love living vicariously through my friends who travel all over. I always love that. So, and that's great. And I've just got to say, you are one of those people who, whenever you and I would be at the same function or meeting or whatever the case may be, you're one of those people, Matt, that I was always drawn to, because again, I think people who are positive people seek out other positive people. And that's why, we can go for years without talking to each other, but then we pick up the phone and it's like, oh, how's it going? You would come on my radio show and you were like, it was like literally like we had just been hanging out for the last 7 days. And I think that speaks to you being such a genuine person. What you see is what you get. Anybody watching this show, Matt Hilton is one of the kindest men that I know. And I don't give that compliment out lightly. So I appreciate you being that kind of person, that I knew you were somebody that if I came in and everybody's complaining about something, I'm going to go talk to Matt. Matt might have a positive thought or two in his brain.
Maybe. And thank you. That means the world.
You're
thank
welcome.
You. Thank you. Thank you.
You bet.
What do you love most about yourself?
Oh goodness. That is a tough question. I've never been asked.
It's an Oprah question. No.
Yeah, yes, that is. I know. Yeah, it is. I love that no matter what I have going on in my life, that I'm the kind of person that if one of my kids, my husband, family, friends, somebody's in need, I will drop it all in a split second and be present for that person. And I know people use be present a lot, but what I mean is truly listen, and maybe they just need you to listen, or maybe they need you to give advice. That's one of those things as I get older and, you have, different stages of your life, different things you do. And that's one of those things I would hope that I don't ever lose that, because I do want, if somebody thinks of me, they can be like, oh yeah, if you're having a tough time, you can count on her. I might not have the answer, but hopefully I know somebody through all the different, facets of my life that can help that person at that time. So, being able to help somebody when they need it. I think that's what I would say I'm proud of myself for.
Yeah, and you should be.
Well, thank you.
And I don't know that I've ever said this to you, but you are who I count within my 2 a.m. friends.
Oh.
And I don't know if you know what that means.
I do, and thank you for that. And I would absolutely take a call at 2 a.m. from you. Of course, my kids laugh because they were at a concert, or my daughter had been out at a concert, and I answer the phone. It's 1:30, and she's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And she goes, how about, hey, how's the concert going? And I was like, she goes, I'm calling you from the concert so you can listen to your favorite song that they sing. I'm like, and so her and my son always laugh, and I'm like, y'all don't understand.
Right.
Y'all can be 40, 50, and if I'm still kicking, if I get a call in the middle of the night, I'm going to be like, are y'all okay?
Sure. It's a parental reaction.
It is. Said, until y'all have kids, you won't understand that.
And if y'all can't tell, we could keep talking and talking and talking, but I've got to wrap up this segment of the show.
Oh, man.
And
dang nabbit.
I know, the time has flown. But I do want to close with 3 questions that I ask. And as you know, I'm the Chief Happiness Officer of a local nonprofit called Who Do You Know? And we focus.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
So fantastic.
Thank you. And we focus on inspiring imagination and granting dreams for people from all walks of life. They don't have to be financially destitute or in ill health, but for anybody. And to make those dreams come true. And we focus on 3 pillars: a person you want to meet that is currently living, a place you want to go, and an experience you want to have. So who is a person that is living that you would love to meet, Kathy?
Well, let's think, and you're saying living, and this is really hard because, up until August, the person who I had always wanted to meet. Now, my daughter and I were blessed to go to her concert, but would have loved to have met her, Olivia Newton-John.
Ah.
Love her. For Mother's Day, we've already pre-bought tickets for Grease, 45th anniversary, by the way, just a little infomercial there, on Mother's Day. And so seats are selling out fast, Moms.
Here in Dallas?
Yeah, it's several.
Okay.
I'll tell you the name of the movie theater afterwards. So they're playing it. So obviously Mother's Day, we're going to go there. I just loved her. Xanadu, I love that. Gosh, and I just recently, speaking about meeting, and I guess when you say who would I want to meet, if it was back in the day, I'm going to say, Winston Churchill, Abraham Lincoln, Jesus, something like that. But current day and living, I just go to musicians because I just love music so much.
Sure.
Recently, I got to meet Gina Schock and Kathy Valentine, who were two of the Go-Go's. Of course, the Go-Go's still one of my favorite bands to this day. Was so thrilled when they got in the Hall of Fame. Somebody living that I would want to. I think Willie Nelson. I've seen him in concert 3 times.
Okay.
I think I would want to meet him, first of all, to talk about his career. Prolific songwriter. I mean, there are songs out there that people are singing that's their favorite song that they don't realize Willie Nelson wrote it 40 years ago. And he's a Texas boy. Had kind of a rough start in life as a very young kid. And I think if I could meet somebody living today, that I'd want to meet Willie Nelson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all paying attention? Willie Nelson. Let's make that happen. All right, a place you want to go that you haven't been to?
Israel.
Israel.
Yeah, that's easy. Israel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about my Israeli experience when I went over New Year's. I'll tell you after the show.
Oh, I can't wait to hear. Yeah, I just think the religious significance of it.
Sure.
I think that would be one of those things. You wouldn't go on a vacation there to relax because there are so many amazing biblical and historical sites to see. I think if there's one place I could go before I died, that's be Israel.
So a place you'd want to go while you're still living.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes. That being the kicker there. That being the kicker there.
And then an experience you would like to have.
Oh, jumping out of an airplane. That's easy. I would love
why haven't you done it yet?
Ask my husband. He said that he either has to be dead or he's like, can you wait until he goes, I feel like I'm going to die before, even though he's a few years younger than me. He's like, I kind of feel like I'm going to kick off before you do. Can you just wait till like a couple of days after my funeral to do that? He goes, or can you go and take out like large sums of, life insurance on yourself? So I've always thought that would be something fun. Heck, it's probably safer than driving on the road. I mean,
President Bush did it at 90 something.
Exactly. So, I've always thought that would be awesome to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing those
You're welcome.
thoughts with us and your dreams.
Yeah.
And it was just such a pleasure speaking with you today. And thank you. And I ask my audience to please subscribe to my YouTube channel, share this story on your social media networks. Kathy is a true friend of mine. And I hope you learned something from her thoughts today and was inspired by her stories, because she truly is a fascinating person. Until next time, thank you, and tune in next week as we have another fascinating person with an inspiring story. Bye, y'all.
If you'd like to contact Matt or know a fascinating person with an inspiring story that would make a great guest, reach out to the show at themattHiltonshow@gmail.com.